Part 13. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 121. Afterwards, Qiao Qiao and Ding's mother went to the room to chat privately. Qiao Qiao directly threw out her B ultrasound form and medical record card. Ding's mother almost fell down when she saw that she was more than 40 days pregnant. "Well, your grandson is in my belly. I'll beat you to death." Mother Ding was about to pounce on her again. "My son is confused. Can't you handle this well? It's over, Lao Ding's golden mountain is going to fly." Mother Ding really wanted to sit on the ground and cry. "Don't get excited," Qiao Qiao raised her phone. "If you dare to touch me, I will not only let Yang Yu know about your son's scandal, but his work unit will also know about it, and I will also call the police." Mother Ding gasped in anger, waving her hand in the air but unable to pull it down. "Listen to me." Qiao Qiao shared the results of the night's thinking. "We can live in peace. Yang Yu doesn't know anything about Ding Yi and me. Yang Yu doesn't want to see Ding Yi. Sooner or later, they will get divorced. But after the divorce, your eldest grandson will definitely not be awarded to Ding Yi. Yes. Don't you want Ding Yi to have a child? Don't you want the Ding family's bloodline to continue? Now I have already made one in my belly, isn't it just right?" Qiao Qiao thought for a long time. She can't go home. If she goes back, she will definitely be beaten to death by her father, and the child will not be saved. And she couldn't leave even though she was pregnant with the child. It's not only inconvenient, but also afraid that if I leave, what will happen if the child Ding Yi doesn't recognize him? It took a lot of effort for her to get pregnant and get to where she is now. How could she fall short? So she must not leave Beijing. She sat at the station all night last night. In the end, she decided that instead of letting herself be manipulated, she might as well give it a try. Ding Yi didn't want to admit her, but she wanted to do the opposite. She had to force him to admit it. As long as the Ding family recognizes her, Ding Yi will naturally not let her leave again. As soon as the child stabilized, she went to have a showdown with Yang Yu to see if Yang Yu dared to make fun of her and act blindly. If it still doesn't work, she will go to Yang Yu's work to see if Yang Yu has that face. So, after making a plan, Qiao Qiao went to the door without telling Ding Yi. At the same time, Ding's mother was also making plans in her mind. She also didn't expect that Qiao Qiao was so devoted to her son that she would be willing to conceive a child for him. After all, the one in the belly is his grandson. She hates Qiao Qiao, but she is pleasantly surprised by her grandson's existence. God knows how much she and her husband wanted a grandson. It's a pity that the eldest grandson has become a grandson. He is neither related to the Ding family nor takes the Ding family's surname. Even if you can fight for it back in the future, you may not be able to raise it properly. This always made her feel unhappy. And Qiao Qiao was right about one thing. The son is definitely going to divorce Yang Yu, it's just a matter of time. What if this process takes a long time? The way Yang Yu looked yesterday clearly showed that he has not forgiven Ding Yi yet, so his son's plan to make money will take many years. If this time is too long, won't it be my son who is delayed? Wouldn't it be that the grandson belonging to the Ding family is missing? They are no longer young and cannot afford to wait. Mother Ding couldn't help but look at Qiao Qiao's belly. It's rare for a fool to be willing to give birth to a son. That's not a bad thing. This Qiao Qiao is naturally not worthy of her son, and she won't be able to marry her when her son becomes successful in the future, but that doesn't stop him from coaxing this fool into giving birth to a son for the Ding family now, right? Isn't she determined? Then let her give birth. After giving birth to one, two will be born. Anyway, she is willing to do it herself, so it will be easy to break up in the future. At most, give me some money and kick him out. Both of them have their own hidden agendas. Finally, after Qiao Qiao said "Mom," The two finally reached a cooperation. Ding's mother promised not to embarrass Xiao Xiao again and recognized her relationship with Ding Yi. Xiao Xiao promised to give birth to a fat grandson for their family. The Ding family held a small meeting. Ding Xia objected, "Mom, are you crazy? You can't agree. If my sister-in-law finds out, everything will be over. The relationship between brother and sister-in-law has not been repaired yet, so there is no need to take this risk again." "I think it's okay." Mother Ding shook her head. "There are so many of us, but we can't stand Xiao Xiao. The capital is so big, it's impossible for Yang Yu to know that she exists." "Yes. Next month, after seeing the Olympics, your mother and I will go back to our hometown and take Xiao Xiao with us. We will take her back to our hometown to give birth. Then we won't be afraid of being discovered by the Yang family." Father Ding also has an idea. "When she gives birth to the child, we will take the child with her and let her go." So when Ding Yi came over, what he saw was Xiao Xiao and his family enjoying themselves. "Xiao Xiao, why didn't you leave?" He was a little angry. He always thought Xiao Xiao was obedient, but it turns out he wasn't. "Brother Yi, I can't leave." Xiao Xiao cried so hard. "She has it, don't you know?" Ding Xia threw the case out. Ding Yi felt as if he was struck by lightning and immediately shook his head. Impossible. He had taken measures before, but Xiao Xiao had been taking medicine. How could she become pregnant? "I didn't expect it either. But the doctor said that measures can only reduce the probability and are not 100% safe. Why didn't you tell me?" I'm scared, I don't dare." Xiao Xiao burst into tears. "I want to find a suitable opportunity to tell you." "No." Ding Yi came to his senses, went up and dragged Xiao Xiao to take her to abort the child. But this time, Ding Mu and Xiao Xiao burst into tears together. Mother Ding kept talking about descendants, bloodline, and grandson. Xiao Xiao repeatedly asked, "Are you going to kill the crystallization of our love?" Ding Yi was also confused. Reason told him that he could not keep this child, and it was best to drive Xiao Xiao away. Ken. Like his parents, having a wife is a thorn in his side. He also wants a child belonging to the Ding family. After being held back by two women on the left and right, and scolded by his father, he could only agree and think about it. He put the matter aside for the time being, fearing that clues would be discovered, so he focused all his energy on observing Yang Yu for several days. And Yang Yu is very regular every day. "I run in the morning and then go to work. After get off work, I go to Yang's father and mother's place or go to the courtyard to see the old man. He works out when he has free time, has dinner together on weekends, and doesn't care about him and the Ding family at all." He followed Yang Yu for 3 days, and found someone to follow Yang Yu for a whole week. Except for the message same as yesterday, he found nothing, and he also found out more than 1,000. But this also gave him reassurance. She didn't care about him at all. How could she discover his secret? That's it, Xiao Xiao's place, that's it. People, that's it. Once you accept the setting, most of the time you will just keep going down and not easily overthrow it and start over. Ding Yi thinks this is not bad. Seeing Xiao Xiao's belly getting bigger day by day, he also felt a little hopeful. That day, he specially took Xiao Xiao on a date. When the woman was happiest, he made a request. "Go back to your hometown next month to raise the baby. You are too heavy and I can't take care of you. I can't worry about you either. Can you come back to Beijing after the baby is born? By then, I can confidently divorce Yang Yueti." Xiao Xiao clenched her molars, hiding her unwillingness and resentment, and sweetly replied, "Okay." The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 122. Ding Yi's problem was solved, but he didn't feel happy. On the contrary, he was bored to death. In a rented house with one bedroom and one living room, there are 6 people, 2 couples, and 3 generations, and one is a pregnant woman. How can it be good to live together? Xiao Xiao definitely couldn't sleep on the floor, so she could only sleep on the bed. Therefore, the distribution of residence can only be based on men and women. The women sleep in the room, and the men make the floor in the living room. You can imagine how uncomfortable it was to sleep 3 people on a 1.5-meter wide bed. Xiao Xiao was not feeling well. She would vomit several times a night and could not sleep well after tossing and turning all night. Ding's mother doesn't sleep well, but Ding Xia likes to sleep. The 3 of them were tired of each other and all had an uncomfortable sleep. The same goes for the 3 people working on the floor. Ding's father was snoring loudly, Ding Er was not a good sleeper, and the Ding family's son-in-law couldn't sleep well. Sometimes he pushed his snoring father-in-law, and sometimes he threw away his brother-in-law's legs. This tossing and turning made all 3 of them restless. So, in just 3 days, everyone expressed their dissatisfaction with the living conditions. And this pressure naturally transferred to Ding Yi. Either change the place to live, or find a job for Ding Xia and his wife. Changing residence is certainly out of the question. He doesn't have that much money to build. Since all his family members were here these days, he applied for a credit card and cashed out all the money. As for finding a job, he didn't have a wide network of contacts, so he could only get help through a labor service company. Ding Xia and her husband both have junior high school diplomas, so it is indeed difficult for them to find jobs with good conditions in all aspects. So Ding Xia begged him to find the Yang family for help every day. When he got home that day, Ding Yi mentioned the matter to his wife. "Help me. It's not difficult. But if someone arranges for them to join the unit, they will definitely need to pay for the benefits. Will you pay for it?" "Excuse me, please." Ding Yi didn't expect Yang Yu to be so easy to talk to. Of course Tao Ran is easy to talk to. If someone brings money to her door, of course she has to earn it. The person she said wanted benefits was naturally herself. Don't waste this money. She can donate it if she doesn't want it, right? Ding Yi's requirements are, a public institution, including food and accommodation, preferably in a clean environment, and no insurance is required, but the income and benefits cannot be low, and it is best to be a regular employee who can sign a contract. Tao Ran chuckled in his heart. Is the company owned by her family? Okay, but her face was still calm. A week later, she found a job. In the state-owned canteen, I will help with food and miscellaneous tasks. Food and accommodation are included. No insurance will be paid for 2,202 months. Do you want to do it? Do it, Ding Yi agreed. You know, the average job in my hometown is about 1,000 yuan a month. As an undergraduate, he only earns more than 4,000 yuan a month in a public institution. My sister and brother-in-law can still earn so much without any skills. This job is great. For a job like this, you must be eager to get into it. After all, it is a state-owned enterprise. That is to say, the Yang family has such a great reputation. Thank you, Yu. Oh, by the way, 2,000 is the income after becoming a full-time employee. During the probationary period, it is only 800. It will take at least 3 months before the full-time contract can be signed. Ask Ding Xia if she can accept it. Ding Yi only thought for 2 seconds and nodded for Ding Xia. They are almost dying in the rental house. As long as they can move out quickly, the salary for the first 3 months will be less. Then you ask them to behave well. Don't worry, both Ding Xia and Ding Xia can work hard and be honest. The employer will definitely be satisfied. Yet it's true that he's capable, but he's honest, let's forget it, right? Also, there is a hard-earned fee of 3,000 yuan. The middleman wants it. Can you accept it? Okay, I'll deliver it tomorrow. Ding Yi happily called to announce the good news, while Chao Ran raised his eyebrows. Why is it so easy to find such a good unit? No one needs interviews. Or is she using favors to help? No, no, of course not. Because Yang Yu told the recruiter, they will never make it 3 months, so there is no possibility of becoming a regular employee. But they are hardworking and can do any hard work. In other words, using 800 per month in exchange for 2 active and capable laborers, without giving up the opportunity to become a full-time employee in the future, this is equivalent to indirect savings and disguised oppression. The employer is naturally willing and wishes that there were more such workers. You know, the labor force within the capital is now at least 1,000-2,000 or more per month. Chao Ran felt at ease that he had earned these 3,000. And it was Ding Yi who finally took out the 3,000. Ding Xia begged him for a long time, saying that she would pay him back when she earned the money. What else could he do? After Ding Xia and his wife moved out, the rental house became much more spacious. Qiao has always been obedient, and Mother Ding is a little more pleased with her. In July, Ding Yi received 1,002 from Yang Yu. Yang Yu said that when the Ding family came, his expenses were high, so he gave him an extra 100. He sneered, "Did he still have to thank you?" However, Ding Yi also discovered that Yang Yu was really in a good mood recently. She would occasionally buy some flowers and put them in a vase at home, and she would also sing a little song from time to time. In addition, Ding Yi also noticed that Yang Yu started to become very busy. He spent more time at home and became busy after returning home. Sometimes he could stay in the study until midnight. This is almost something that has never happened to Ding Yi since he met Yang Yu. He asked twice, but Yang Yu only said check the information. Her work is very leisurely, and it is definitely not work-related. What could that be? That day, while Yang Yu was not at home, the curious Ding Yi went into the study to look through it. There are many books on the professional study of antiques on the table. Yang Yu is not a person who likes reading. He flipped through it and found that many places in the book had been sketched by Yang Yu. He looked carefully. The agate elephant, filigree figure, enamel pen holder, and some coins sketched in the book all looked so familiar. He remembered. There seems to be a lot of similar collections in the old man's courtyard of the Yang family. No wonder the things Yang Yu circled looked familiar to him. No matter how you look at it, they all look the same. Looking at the detailed introduction in the book, Ding Yi was a little shocked. He knew the old man's stuff was good, but he didn't know it was so good. He probably still underestimated the old man. He also remembered that last year, the old man also held a position in an antique protection association. At that time, several old men from their association visited the courtyard house and were full of praise for the collections. It was he and Yang Yu who went to pick people up and drop them off. Ding Yi suddenly became interested. The old man only has a granddaughter. As his grandson-in-law, isn't he his son? After all, those things will belong to him from now on. Since it is all his wealth, he naturally has to care a little, right? Ding Yi turned on the computer. Then he checked the computer's history and found that Yang Yu had been searching and querying. The website she opened was either an antique website or an auction house. She was inquiring about the value and price of those antiques. Ding Yi clicked on the search records and then opened his mouth in surprise. Be good. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 123. Ding Yi had never been interested in those collections. He never knew that those old and broken-looking things were worth so much money. If it weren't for the fact that the websites Yang Yu checked were all official authorities, he would just think it was all fantasy. What? A broken blue and white bottle can be sold for 800,000 yuan? What? A jet black plate sold for 3 million? Depend on. What kind of painting of flowers and birds was sold at auction for 9 million? Crazy. What kind of jade ornaments, more than 30 million? Even those tattered copper coins cost hundreds or thousands of dollars each. He knew that the old man had thrown several cans into his bookcase. At this moment, Ding Yi's heart was in turmoil. Although the old man's treasures may not be as old as those found online, they are all genuine. Judging from the appearance, it is similar to the picture shown online. I don't know how much it can sell for. Ding Yi took a big breath. I'm afraid he really has a golden mountain without knowing it, right? That day, Ding Yi's heart could not calm down and was in a state of wild beating. And Yang Yu, who came home that night, hid in the study after dinner as usual. Not long after, he heard Yang Yu talking on the phone. It took a long time. Damn it, he can't hear clearly. Ding Yi scratched his head and felt so uncomfortable that he finally found a broken mobile phone. After fully charging it, he turned on the recording button while Yang Yu went to the toilet, and secretly hid it behind some books in the study. Yang Yu returned to the room after 12 o'clock. At about 1 o'clock, Ding Yi sneaked into the study and took the phone back. Soon, his heart started beating wildly again. What he recorded was so informative. Please, how's your business going? Really? They charge everything. My grandpa has quite a lot of these things. In the early years, there were quite a lot of them in my old house. Later, after my grandpa retired and had nothing to do, he liked to buy these things for fun. Who would have thought that I would accompany my grandpa at the street stall and buy them for fun? The rags have become treasures now. Well, in just 20 years of work, at least he turned dozens of somersaults. At that time, copper coins cost 1 yuan a handful, but now, a slightly rare copper coin costs hundreds or even thousands. The most exaggerated thing is that my grandfather I bought a Hessian jade incense burner for 100 yuan 30 years ago. Someone came to buy it last month, and the price was already 300,000 yuan. This is a direct increase of 1,500 times. Isn't that right? He's not as good as a real estate speculator. Yes, the most valuable thing in my grandpa's house has never been his courtyard house, but his collection. Yes, you can reassure them and keep it true. How much did they pay for my jade buckle? 100,000. That's so much. I just took it. What do they most want to collect? Wait a minute, I'll take a note and take notes. So General, do you think I really don't know? I've also heard that there are many treasure appraisal programs on TV recently, so many people follow the trend and collect. As long as the goods are genuine, they can sell them. Just the ones my grandfather has, people want what they have. What's the problem? I'll tell you the truth. I don't even have to tell the old man, just take it as you like. Although the old man likes these things, he is old and can't remember many things. If I take some away, he may not be able to. When I found it, I thought I had thrown it away somewhere. But Grandpa has long said that all his stuff was left to me. If I like anything, I can take it away at will. Yeah, otherwise where do you think that jade buckle came from? I took it for fun last month. A month has passed and my grandfather didn't even ask. Okay. While the market is good, I'll pick up some small items in the next few days and leave them to you first. It's a deal. Well, within 3 days. However, I don't want to bother with it, so I only accept payment and delivery. Is that okay? Okay, let's contact you again. Ding Yi understood. He guessed correctly. Yang Yu is interested in the old man's collection, so he has been studying the collection recently. Just to take advantage of the hot market, steal the old man's antiques and resell them to make money. This. Ding Yi's heart, Pop, pop, pop. It's all huge sums of money. Speaking of which, Yang Yu's money was his money, but she even deducted his salary, let alone these big money. Can he still expect her to share it with him? This woman is too greedy. While Ding Yi was jealous, he was also upset and couldn't sleep at night. He couldn't help but think that every time Yang Yu made an antique now, he would have one less thing he could get in the future. Every time Yang Yu sells one piece, he will lose one piece of money in the future. Whenever he thinks of this, his whole body feels as uncomfortable as being bitten by insects and ants. In the next few days, Ding Yi's eyes were almost always fixed on Yang Yu. It has to be said that she is busier than the past few days. She goes to the courtyard every day. Twice, I went there when the old man was not around. She had the key to the courtyard, so she opened the door directly and left gracefully. When I went in, I was empty-handed. When I came out, I picked up a bag and left at a trot. Haha, what is she doing, do you need to say? He sneaked into the house while the old man was not around. If he wasn't doing something shameful, he would be a ghost. That day, Yang Yu wore sportswear and went out early in the morning, but it was not for running. Instead, he went to the courtyard while the old man was not at home. After staying for less than 5 minutes, she came out again wearing a black nylon bag. Ding Yi knew that she was going home to change clothes for work, so he took a taxi home first. Sure enough, within 5 minutes of arriving home, Yang Yu came back. She pretended as if nothing had happened, carried her bag directly into the study, and then heard only rustling in the room. Ding Yi pretended to go to work and then returned home. While Yang Yu had left, he entered the study. He wanted to see what she had taken. Where is the black bag? It can't be in the drawer, so it can only be in the cabinet. After some rummaging, the bag came out. He was speechless for a moment. Good wait. There are 2 bags in the bag. Each one was filled with copper coins. When I opened it, I saw that there were about 50 or 60 coins. There was also a bag containing 2 pieces of jade. Ding Yi thought for a while, and finally grabbed 2 of the most ordinary and inconspicuous ones from the copper coin bag. Yang Yu had only been in the courtyard for 5 minutes in total, so he must not have had time to count. And with so many copper coins, she couldn't count them in a hurry, right? It wasn't that he was interested in these 2 copper coins, but he wanted to see if the old man's goods were worth anything. On this day, Ding Yi directly asked for leave and didn't even go to work. Taking 2 copper coins, he went to the antique market. After searching a few stores, he went to ask about the prices. Several stores told him it was genuine. Receive. Ask him how much he is willing to pay. How much are you willing to pay? As a result, the prices offered by several stores were in the thousands, and every boss had an attitude that the price could be further negotiated. Ding Yi took a breath. Step on the horse. It's too outrageous. Just 2 steel drills, what about? But the boss said, what does this mean? Last year, an auction house sold Xianfeng's baby Gong Dang for 50 yuan for a sky-high price of tens of millions. Thanks to bookstore Ian for the daily corpse baby and Ren Xiaoao for the reward. I love you all. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 124. Ding Yi was silent. At that moment, he finally understood what Yang Yu said. The most valuable thing in the old man's place was never the courtyard. He thought that those copper coins were usually thrown into the bowl of the cabinet by the old man. After all, the things in the Duobao pavilion and the display cabinet of the old man were really valuable, right? By some strange combination of circumstances, he had such a huge golden mountain at his back without even realizing it. No, for him, this is not a mountain of gold, but a gold mine. Ridiculous. After working for a month and working so hard, it was only worth the 2 copper coins that fell from the fingers of the old man. In a daze, he felt a little annoyed. It's all Xiao Qiao's fault. If she hadn't seduced him, he and Yang Yu would have been fine, and they would have coaxed the old man to add his name to the will happily, right? Then he is a real rich man. No, he has to be nice to Yang Yu. At least until everyone in Yang's family died, his marriage had to be safe. But when will the Yang family die? Suffer to death? Haha, it seems that he has to make plans and act early. When he was depressed, Qiao Qiao called. What else could happen? Clicking again, asking for money. Let him go to dinner and bring some cash with him. Is he a cash machine? Since all the Ding family members have come to the capital, their expenses have increased. Now Ding Yi has 7 credit card debts. The initial thrill of swiping a credit card has long since disappeared, replaced by a steady stream of anxiety and irritability. That afternoon, Ding Yi, who was home alone, heard the door lock open and it was Yang Yu who came home. She didn't know that Ding Yi was at home. She hurried home and went to the study to get the black handbag, put all the things inside into the suitcase, and then strode away with the suitcase. Ding Yi quickly followed. He followed Yang Yu into a tea house. At that time, Yang Yu was wearing sunglasses and a mask, looking around and looking very sneaky. She entered a box, and within 2 minutes, a man and a woman wearing black work clothes and carrying a briefcase also entered there. 2 hours later, Yang Yuke walked out with a spring breeze on his face. She hugged the box happily and even kissed it. Ding Yi's heart suddenly twitched. So this box is cash? She hit the accelerator and sped away. Ding Yi just wanted to spit in her face. And his attention was also attracted by the man and woman walking out of the tea house. Seeing the 2 people getting into a car, Ding Yi took a taxi and followed them. Finally, he watched the man and woman enter a building and go up to the 18th floor. He went to the front desk to check. The 18th floor is the office of a famous auction house in China. Ding Yi swallowed his saliva. Who knows how he was feeling now, but he just felt uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable all over. It hurts from head to toe, from the inside out. It was so uncomfortable that he went to the pub to have a few drinks and was completely unhappy. When he returned home at night, Yang Yu was already back. She actually ordered a table full of Japanese takeout, and even had a bottle of wine while watching TV. Just watching the variety show, laughing, obviously in a good mood. Ding Yi gritted his back teeth. Could she be in a bad mood? Got a box of money. If he wanted to, he would have to sleep on that money tonight. When he got closer, he saw sashimi, prawns, caviar, king crab, and Kobe beef on the table. Ding Yi felt a pain in his heart again. There was no one worth 3,000 at this table. How could a person eat so much, eat so well, and spend so much money alone not be able to support her to death? Of course, Yang Yu's chic, carefree, and arrogant attitude made Ding Yi even more dissatisfied. Ding Yi suppressed his anger. Why is it so good to eat? I thought you went back to your parents' place to eat? They don't eat Japanese food, so I can only buy it and eat it. Why are you staring at me and wanting to eat it? But I have tasted every dish. If you don't mind, you can eat the rest. No need. Ding Yi gritted his teeth, feeling that his self-esteem had been hurt again. He took a few steps closer and saw a lot of things on the sofa. Yang Yu not only bought a lot of new clothes, but also bought 2 big-name bags. So, this prodigal woman spent tens of thousands on just the pile in front of her, right? It's all his. It's his future money. Asphyxia. My heart is bleeding. Buying so much, are you getting paid, Ba? Although her salary is quite high, 1 bag requires 3 months' salary, right? How much is my salary? I made some investments with my friends and made some money. Ding Yi breathed out loudly from his nose. She is quite honest. By the way, Your salary has been paid, but I haven't given you pocket money yet. Here it is. Chaoran handed over the envelope he had prepared. Ding Yi took a look. Haha, 1003, it has gone up a bit. Wait a minute. Chaoran grabbed her bag again, opened it, took out a few cards and handed them to Ding Yi. I made money, let's use it to buy some delicious food for your parents. Look at you, how long has it been since you bought clothes? She looked disgusted and took 2 more items from her bag. Go, buy a shirt. Ding Yi's face was red and he was clenching his fists. According to his wishes, he just wished he could beat Yang Yu to death right now. This woman really never forgets to slap him. Why don't you take it? Too few, Chaoran snorted, opened the bag, and took out 2 more pieces. Is this enough? Ding Yi saw clearly the thick wad of banknotes in Chaoran's bag. That pile is worth at least 30,000, right? Just put Saba in the bag so casually. Isn't she afraid of losing it and getting robbed? Hee hee. Of course she is not afraid, she has plenty of money now. Angina. This money should be yours. But she enjoyed it all. He is unwilling to give in, so unwilling. What to do? What to do? Seeing Ding Yi sitting uneasy and having no choice but to wash his face due to extreme anxiety, Chaoran smiled sweetly. This fish seems to be almost caught. Chaoran pretended to suddenly remember, by the way, I forgot to ask you recently, how much profit did you earn from the remaining 60,000 yuan of investment? Remember to get the principal back quickly. Stop investing. When the pressure is put on her, she still has to continue to exert it, right? That night, Chaoran entered the study early again. Of course, Ding Yi also recorded successfully again. He received Yang Yu's call again. Thank you. The buyer you introduced last time was pretty good, refreshing and professional. I found several seals at my grandpa's place 2 days ago. They are all mutton fat jade. They are from famous artists. I will send you some pictures later. You can help me estimate the value. I also know that the price is not low. Last year, someone offered me $1 million and wanted to take it. Grandpa said he would leave it to me, so he didn't sell it. I'll let you ask first. If the price is right, I will pay. No, my grandfather didn't even ask about the ones he took away last time. 9 times out of 10, he knows that I took it. Anyway, it will be mine sooner or later, so let me go. Why do you say that? Today, I said that I wanted to take him to play around for 2 days, and he actually said, "Bad girl, you are the only thief, you finally have some conscience, what do you mean by this? You clearly know that I stole things but just don't expose me. Let's go in a few days." I'll get it in a few days. I'm embarrassed to go every day. Listening to these words, Ding Yi's complexion changed several times. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 125. Ding Yi listened to the recording carefully and breathed a sigh of relief. Sure enough, Yang Yu had no idea that he took away 2 coins. And as he listened, he was shocked again. What? Is there really something in the old man's place that can cost over $1 million at a random price? Did the old man deliberately not have an attack when he found something missing? The old man already knew that his granddaughter took the things, so he turned a blind eye. After putting the above 3 items in front of his eyes, Ding Yi naturally came up with an idea, so, if he could secretly take away a little bit of the old man's things, they wouldn't find out, right? The old man would only think that Yang Yu took it and wouldn't even mention it. And how can the old man remember so many things clearly? Of course, what if they find that something is missing? As long as his hands and feet are clean enough, they will only assume that the thing cannot be found or lost, and they will not suspect him. Yes or no? As soon as this idea came up, it was out of control. Rather than let those good things fall into Yang Yu's hands and be wasted by her, which made him feel uncomfortable, why not get some first and solve his urgent need? Then, he can buy a house or rent another one, and his parents and Xiao Xiao won't have to fight anymore. He can also fill in the holes in his credit card. With money, he doesn't have to worry. While he is waiting for his son to be born with a beautiful woman in his arms, he can coax his wife back with certainty. Both his wife and sister will obey him as they did before. He can live a good and carefree life again. Ding Yi, who was recently forced to do nothing by life, suddenly had an idea. After thinking about it for a while, he could no longer control his thoughts and started his plan. In order to investigate Yang Yu's affairs, Ding Yi had hardly set foot in the rental house except for sending money once this week. As long as Ding's father and Ding's mother had money to spend, it didn't matter, but Xiao Xiao was unhappy. Not only did she see that Ding Yi was perfunctory and impatient with her, but she was also a little dissatisfied with her. She was so wronged. What did she do wrong? Why is he so cold? It had been so long, and he hadn't even taken the initiative to hold her hand, let alone show proper tenderness. Xiao Xiao was sad and even more uneasy. She has promised to go back to the countryside with Father Ding and Mother Ding next month. Originally, she wanted to try to use her children to keep Ding Yi's heart, but let alone the children, he had recently ignored his parents in order to be with Yang Yu every day. Xiao Xiao was worried that his old relationship with Yang Yu would rekindle. Probably because she was afraid that Yang Yu would find out about them, Xiao Xiao had been closely watched by the Ding family for more than a month, and she was not even allowed to step out of the house. How could Xiao Xiao not panic? If he is like this when she is pregnant, what about the future? She was afraid that Ding Yi was still thinking about Yang Yu, that Ding Yi was just new to her, that Ding Yi would give up on her, that Ding Yi didn't plan to divorce at all. So, isn't she trying to get nothing out of a bamboo basket? She also has a child, what will she do in the future? The child is a loser, can she find someone better than Ding Yi? She doesn't have that confidence. Can I be the third son for the rest of my life? That's not what she wants. She also wants to achieve great success and be admired by others. No, absolutely not. Unable to sit still, Xiao Xiao successfully walked out of the rental house with a little trick and found Yang Yu one noon. Ding Yi refused to leave, so she forced Yang Yu. She touched her increasingly rounded belly. See? Ding Yi loved me and gave me a child. He said that when I give birth to a child, he will divorce you. This child is the fruit of our love, and he likes it. Do you know who is taking care of me these days? It's his parents. They all like me and the baby in my belly, and are waiting for the baby to arrive. They already recognized me. Yang Yu, give up. Ding Yi will never come back to you again. Tao Ran chuckled, unfortunately, your words don't count. Ding Yi said. It doesn't matter what Ding Yi says. Everything between me and him, and between you and him, is all my decision. Her smile suddenly deepened, and she turned around and left. Xiao Xiao followed a few steps and threatened. Yang Yu, I'll give you 3 days to think about it. If you still don't let go, then I will go to your unit leader to make the decision. If you don't want to make the entire unit known, embarrassed, and lose face, if you don't want me to make trouble at your grandpa's house or your parents' house, you'd better exit quickly and swiftly. Xiao Xiao heard that the Yang family was both orthodox and conservative, and they valued face. Although they were local snakes, they were afraid of being embarrassed. The more famous they were in the local area, the more they were afraid of losing face. She didn't believe that Yang Yu could still die without getting divorced. Tao Ran didn't even turn around. You can just make up your own mind because it was impossible for this situation to happen. She took out her phone and secretly paused the construction. What a bold Sanur, come to provoke. Tisk. She had known for a long time that Xiao Xiao was coming to her door. That being the case, she's happy to oblige. It's almost time to close the network. That weekend was the day when Taoran took his family on a short trip. Their plan was to leave on Friday afternoon and return on Monday morning. It was 2 o'clock in the middle of the night on Friday, when the moon was dark and the wind was high. Everyone was sleeping soundly and no one was around. A battery car stopped at the intersection not far from the courtyard. Two people got out of the car. Both of them were wearing hoodies and masks, and they were completely unrecognizable. They walked quickly and arrived outside the courtyard in a minute. The two people had obviously divided their labors. One stood at the entrance of the alley, looking left and right, doing the job of looking out for the wind. The other one was holding a bag in one hand and taking out a bunch of keys from his pocket with the other hand. The lock cylinder turned, and the courtyard door opened with a slight creak. The person who opened the door made a gesture and then flashed in. The door closes again. If this person is not Ding Yi, who is he? As for the one looking out, it was his father. Ding Yi has been worried a lot lately, so Ding's mother asked more questions. Ding Yi was afraid of damaging his image in front of Qiao Qiao, so he quietly revealed the antique to Ding's mother. After hearing this, Ding's mother was as excited as Ding Yi was that day. "Son, since this is a foolproof thing, what are you afraid of? Your relationship with Yang Yu has not been able to get any closer in recent months. You don't know how long it will take to get back to the past. You want to use the Yang family's money? I don't know how long we have to wait. Instead of doing that, we might as well seize what is in front of us. Otherwise, if we continue to waste our family like Yang Yu, we don't know what will be left for you in the future." Ding's mother was heartbroken when she thought that Yang Yu had a package worth tens of thousands. This prodigal daughter-in-law. It depends on how you deal with her in the future. Let's put it all together, even if we only take away one or two things, that's fine, right? Mother Ding's idea is to sell only a few items worth 100,000 to 80,000 yuan, and let the number in the passbook increase first. In fact, Ding Yi thought so too. He is so short of money. Just relieve the financial pressure and have enough money, that's all. In this way, Ding's father, who also agreed, became Ding Yi's helper. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 126. Ding Yi felt that he was very lucky. Look, isn't this, the opportunity has come? The Yang family is going on a short trip again. I'm leaving for 3 nights this time. All he has is time. So Ding Yi decided to check it out tonight, take a few things to check the situation, and then go to the antique market tomorrow to decide whether the things he got can be sold. If the value is similar, he will take action quickly. If it doesn't work, he can come again tomorrow night and make a new choice, right? So, after confirming that Yang Yu and the others had arrived at their destination and checked into the hotel, their actions began. Ding Yi was in charge of the operation, while Ding's father helped look out. Ding Yi knew that Yang Yu came here every day recently, so when the old man found something missing, he would only think that it was taken away by his granddaughter. So he is still very confident. Of course, just in case, he had prepared an alibi. After successfully entering the courtyard, the surroundings were pitch dark, and he raised his lips. He doesn't have the key to the courtyard, so who can doubt him? Ding Yi held a flashlight and took the key to open the door of the main room and smiled. That day, while Yang Yuan was on the phone in the study, he quietly entered Yang Yu's bedroom, found her bag, and took her keychain from inside. He ran as fast as he could to the market locksmith and asked for a key. Originally, he only wanted to match the keys to the courtyard, but he had an idea and asked the locksmith to match the entire set of keys. It's good to have a key. With the key, he can go in and out of Yang's father and Yang's mother's house at will in the future, and he can also go to Yang Yu's unit, which will save him a lot of hands and feet. After getting the keys and going home smoothly, Yang Yu was still in the study, unaware of it, but he was very happy. The door to the main room opened. Ding Yi took a deep breath and suddenly became excited. As soon as the flashlight is turned on, the action begins. There are famous paintings and many bottles and jars in the living room, but the things on them are too conspicuous, and Ding Yi dare not touch them. He strode into the house, went straight to the study, and then began to rummage through the cabinets. He skipped all the ones that were locked, contained in exquisite brocade gift boxes, and looked familiar in the past, without even looking at them. He also omitted all the larger bottles and jars and bulky items because they were difficult to carry. There are also some things that are suspected to be of high value, such as calligraphy and painting seals with the names of famous people, but he doesn't look at them at all, because he is afraid that he will not be able to take action. What he wants to take are those inconspicuous, smaller and lighter things that are thrown away in corners and corners. It may take a long time for them to be seen, thought of, or found lost, and no one even knows they are lost. Of those things, there is ample time. Today is a start, it's better to be safe. He quickly found what he was looking for. In the bottom corner of the bookcase, there is something wrapped in cloth, with a layer of dust on it. The dusty things in the cupboard haven't been touched at least for 3 to 5 years, right? Safe. When he opened it, he saw an exquisite jade piece, the size of a palm. That's it. If everything goes well, I won't even notice that this thing is missing within a year or so. Ding Yi smiled, rolled up the things in bubble wrap, and stuffed them into a bag that was already filled with cotton. He turned around and caught 2 more in a jar full of jade beads. You're already here, how about grabbing a few more copper coins? Didn't Yang Yu say that the old man just found someone in the countryside to collect a batch of dozens of coins a few days ago? Will not be discovered. Yang Yu seemed to say that her jade button was taken from the wooden box in the sample cabinet, and he had to take a look. Open it and take a look. Oh, there are 7 or 8 jade rings inside. Then he gets one too? No, who would notice such a small thing? Take 2. In this way, Ding Yi walked around a lot and collected dozens of things here and there. His father was so anxious that he kept imitating bird calls outside, so he hurried out. All goes well. That's it for today. Wait for him to go get the appraisal first, and come back tomorrow night at worst. I walked out of the house and gently closed the door. Just as the latch was closing, a strong gust of wind blew from behind. Ding Yi was hit on the lower back and felt a sudden pain, causing him to fall forward. The wooden door that had just been closed opened when he bumped into it. With a thud, Ding Yi jumped forward and hit the ground hard. Then, the lights in the main hall came on. At this moment, Ding Yi's head buzzed, and he wanted to die. He's been discovered. Is the old man at home? Is the old man so strong? Is it Father Yang? He was trembling and subconsciously wanted to beg. How brave, came a cold voice. Ding Yi, who was holding his waist, was stunned. Whose voice is this? Only then did he follow the sound. In the shadow beside the door, a tall man dressed in black stood there with his chest crossed, looking at him. Not the old man, nor Father Yang. There was only that man, no one else inside or outside the house. The man arrived in front of Ding Yi in 3 steps and 2 steps at a time, and grabbed the bag that fell to the ground. Ding Yi panicked and quickly reached out to grab it. The 2 of them grabbed the bag together. I want to see what you, the thief, stole. You are the thief. Ding Yi didn't recognize the person in front of him at all. Within a few seconds, many thoughts flashed through Ding Yi's mind. This man was unfamiliar, he must have never seen him before. So this person is definitely not a relative of the Yang family, nor does he often interact with the Yang family. Then why was he at Yang's house in the middle of the night? How did he get in? If the Yang family is not here, what is he doing here? Is there only one situation that can explain this possibility? He has the same purpose as himself? He also knew that the Yang family was not at home, so he came to steal. Although Ding Yi thought it was ridiculous and too coincidental, he couldn't think of any other possibility. Let go of my bag, this is mine. Yours? A sneaky person who doesn't even want to show his face. I belong to this family. I haven't asked you who you are yet. You are the thief. What are you doing in my house? How did you get in? Ding Yi had already gotten up and punched the man out. However, the man's hand grabbing the bag was the first to use force, and Ding Yi was pulled by him. Not to mention hitting him, he even twisted his direction. Ding Yi's punch was empty, but he asked the man to lift his knee and hit him on the waist. A terrible soreness suddenly swept through his body. Ding Yi shuddered, and all his strength seemed to be drained away. The man pushed again, and Ding Yi staggered, his legs went weak, and he knelt down. The bag was already in the man's hands, while Ding Yi was holding his sore waist and couldn't even stand up. You thief! Ding Yi gritted his teeth. I want to call the police. He took out his cell phone, trying to scare him. Oh! Please, but the man was unmoved. Not only that, he also directly picked up the bag and poured out all the contents on the table. Looking at dozens of carefully wrapped things, the man was amused and angry. It's really man-made and money-killing. Ding Yi saw that he couldn't beat him, and that the other party was not even afraid of calling the police. Now he only had one thought in his mind: run. He rolled and crawled towards the door. Please give me your monthly ticket. 3. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 127. But how could Ding Yi escape? The man in black grabbed his collar from behind and held him as if he were a 3-year-old child. The disparity in strength was too great. No matter how hard he tried, he just couldn't break away. And because the arm lengths were so different, even though Ding Yi tried his best to hit back with his elbows, he still missed the target every time. He couldn't even touch the clothes of the person behind him. Let me go. Why are you holding me? I know what you are here for. I won't expose you. Just let me go. Ding Yi was completely panicked. That's not okay. I'll give you the bag of things. I'll just pretend I've never seen you, okay? Hee. What on earth do you want? I caught a thief. What do you want me to do? You. Aren't you a thief? I told you that I am from this family, and I am not a thief. I don't know you. Who are you? The man came up and pulled off Ding Yi's hat and then his mask. Ding Yi's face was exposed under the light. I am a guest of this family, the man in black said. I don't know you either. I will call the old man and ask them to come back to see if you are from this family. But before they come back, you can't leave. Let me go. I really belong to this family. In that case, there is no need to worry. When they come back, they will naturally know that it was a misunderstanding. The man let go of Ding Yi, but kicked the door shut. He was the only 2 people left in the whole room. Ding Yi's whole body trembled. Guest. Ding Yi thought of the man and turned on the living room light. He obviously knew where the switch was. He believed it. He believed that this man had been at this house all along, so he was caught. What to do? He watched as the man took out his cell phone and dialed. Uncle, it's me. You'd better hurry back first. There are uninvited guests in Grandpa's courtyard here, who steal things. Yes, I caught him. Ding Yi was completely panicked. When Yang Yu and the others come back, if they see him stealing things, he will be completely finished. Let alone marriage, let alone money, even your job will be lost. With such a stain on his life, it would be completely ruined. He must leave. As long as he walks out of this courtyard, he will be a good man again. As long as he leaves before Yang Yu and the others come back, no one will know it's him. Yes, he has an alibi. Just relying on the confession of a stranger, there is no way to catch him. He had to leave quickly. But he can't beat this man at all. While the man was on the phone, Ding Yi tried to run away again. As a result, just like before, he was kicked out by the man before his fingers could reach the door lock. Ding Yi hit the coffee table directly. The entire coffee table slammed to the ground following him. The teapot was broken and the fruit plate was overturned. He also fell to the ground. What to do? Ding Yi cried. He can't afford to lose. When he was at a loss, he saw the fruit knife at hand. While the man is on the phone, can he give it a try? As long as I can escape. Thinking of this, Ding Yi reached out and grabbed the knife tightly in his hand, hiding it in his sleeve. He gathered momentum, stood up suddenly, and walked towards the door again. Sure enough, there was wind behind me again. This time, Ding Yi turned around fiercely, and the fruit knife was stabbed out by him with a cold light. Zhang Chen was agile and avoided the vital point by turning sideways. He was already on guard, but the fruit knife just grazed his arm. Ding Yi used all his strength with this sword, so Zhang Chen's arm was instantly opened and blood overflowed. And Ding Yi's second sword has arrived as promised. At this moment, Zhang Chen's eyes were filled with cruelty. He has always been merciful. He always thought that Ding Yi was just greedy, just deceitful, just shameless, but he never expected that he could be so vicious and unscrupulous. He was angry, angry. Not for him, but for Yang Yu. What kind of beast did she marry? That day Yang Yu asked him to follow Ding Yi, but he just treated it as an ordinary extramarital affair to help. But the more he investigated, the more disgusting Ding Yi became. But Yang Yu said that Ding Yi's shamelessness went far beyond that. It is said that his evil and viciousness have not yet been revealed. Zhang Chen thought Yang Yu was just exaggerating. But Yang Yu said that she wanted to set up a trap and asked him if he would cooperate. She wants Ding Yi to expose his vicious nature and use the law to punish him. Therefore, everything was a plan set by Yang Yu, so that Ding Yi willingly exposed himself and took the initiative to enter the game. Zhang Chen also followed Yang Yu's wishes and did not use all his strength against Ding Yi. Instead, he deliberately forced him to panic. He prepared the fruit plate, he placed the fruit knife, and Ding Yi also deliberately pushed the coffee table with the knife on it. He wants to see this person's bottom line. As a result, Yang Yu's speculation was true. In order not to be exposed, Ding Yi did not hesitate, and without any mental struggle, he actually took the knife and stabbed him. Zhang Chen made up his mind that even for Yang Yu's safety, he had to deal with it with full vigor. If such a beast is not trampled to death by him in one breath, then she will never be able to get rid of him. So for Yang Yu, he can't be soft. So, seeing Ding Yi stabbing him for the second time, a cold light flashed in Zhang Chen's eyes, and his whole aura changed drastically. He pulled forward and dragged Ding Yi to the ground. It seemed that he was completely suppressed by Ding Yi. He was lying on his back, and Ding Yi pointed the knife at him. Ding Yi's knife tip gradually approached. "Give you one last chance, let me out, and I will let you go. Don't even think about it." Ding Yi gritted his teeth and looked ferocious. He is a cautious person, and at this moment, he still does not want to kill someone openly. This method of killing is too blatant and risky. Therefore, his main purpose is to prevent this person from holding him back. The reason why he dared to be violent was because he was wearing gloves and was not afraid of leaving fingerprints. As long as he leaves smoothly, he is still a good man. Of course Zhang Chen knew that Ding Yi was not taking his life. Unfortunately, the world may not think so. From the corner of his eye, he glanced at the lamp in the corner of the ceiling. There was a probe he installed himself. He knew that what was being captured by the camera was an absolutely brutal, shocking, and thrilling scene. Ding Yi was killing him. And he, being pushed down, was struggling hard. The probe is above, so naturally it cannot be photographed. Ding Yi is looking at Zhang Chen's expression, which is gradually as if he has seen a ghost, with a strange and frightened expression. Because after he pinned the man in black down and raised the knife to threaten him, the actual control of the dagger was no longer in his hand, although he still held the dagger tightly. He is being taken away by the man in black. He was controlled by the man in black in his current position. It's not that the man below him is struggling, but that he can't get away now. Even the distance between the tip of the knife and the neck of the man in black below is controlled by the other party. He can't draw that knife away. Why? What's the meaning? Ding Yi was trembling all over. Thank you for your support, and thank you for your subscription and monthly votes. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 128. A smile flashed in Zhang Chen's eyes, and his legs suddenly exerted force and lifted up. Ding Yi shrank and was immediately followed by Zhang Chen. The two rolled into a ball. Ding Yi was stunned until a sharp pain hit him. The pain started from his thigh and spread to his limbs, making him howl. Pain. When he touched it, his hand was covered in blood. He was frightened. He had no idea how the dagger was inserted deeply into his thigh. Seeing himself bleeding profusely, he was terrified. The place where the dagger was inserted couldn't be an artery, right? He screamed. On the other side, Zhang Chen fell on the other side, panting heavily and looking very weak. Then he picked up the phone and called. Father Ding, who was outside the courtyard, saw that his son had not come out, and he was as anxious and panicked as an ant on a hot pot. No matter cats meowing, birds chirping, or insects chirping, he tried them all, but his son didn't appear. He didn't dare to knock on the door rashly, didn't dare to call for someone, and he didn't have a mobile phone, so he was almost crying. Until just now, he suddenly found a light on in the courtyard. Very bright? Did your son turn on the light? No, absolutely not. Is my son crazy? He finally realized that something might have happened. He pushed the battery car under the eaves, stepped on the battery body, stepped on the bridle. He jumped up and pulled hard again, finally grabbing the top of the wall, and then used his strength to move his men up. That's what they are good about in rural areas. They are agile and strong. They usually climb trees. Now climbing a wall is a piece of cake. When he looked inside, he was shocked. The main room was bright, and he vaguely saw two figures fighting. So, my son was discovered. Ding's father yelled oh no, and quickly climbed up the wall. Of course he wants to help. If my son was here, it would be all over. Only if both his father and son escape can they be safe. With great difficulty, Ding's father managed to slip into the courtyard after falling. At this time, he happened to hear his son's scream. Ding's father was so anxious that he rushed towards the main room. Through the window pane, he saw his son lying in a pool of blood. The other person, who also seemed to be weak, was lying on the side talking on the phone. Father Ding grabbed a broom from the corridor and hurriedly knocked on the door. On the seventh stroke, the door was finally knocked open. Zhang Chen shouted in a hoarse voice, "So you have an accomplice." When Father Ding heard this, he picked up the broom and hit Zhang Chen. Seeing that Zhang Chen seemed helpless, he felt relieved. He beat Zhang Chen severely several times and hurried to see his son. Poor son, why did he bleed so much? He quickly picked up Ding Yi. You sensible man, be honest and shut up. Otherwise I will kill you right now, Father Ding threatened Zhang Chen viciously. Ding Yi was confused and basically semi-conscious due to excessive blood loss. Father Ding was anxious to take his son away, but as soon as he took a step, he remembered something again. He actually didn't forget to copy it with his other hand. While stuffing the things on the table back into his bag, he also stuffed a bottle on the table into it. "I've come here, but my son is injured like this. Isn't it such a loss to not take anything?" "You are stealing and robbing again," Zhang Chen warned. "Shut up." Father Ding lifted his mask up, kicked him out, and at the same time picked up a stool and threw it at Zhang Chen, then hurriedly opened the door and left. At this point, Zhang Chen's tasks have been completed. He had already ambushed the nearby brothers, all dressed in work clothes, and surrounded the courtyard. The Ding family father and son who fled outside were immediately blocked. Faintly, the sound of police cars was getting closer and closer. 2 minutes later, 2 police cars arrived. "Comrade police officer," these 2 men broke into the house and stole first, then attempted to kill and silence them, and then attempted to rob and escape. The detained father of Ding Yi and Ding was taken over by the police. "Everything is settled." Half an hour later, Yang Yu and others hurriedly arrived. At this time, Ding Yi had been sent to first aid by 120, while Zhang Chen and Ding's father were still detained at the scene by the police. "I called the police." Tao Ran's eyes filled with water as she looked at the mess, giving full play to her acting skills as an actress. Mr. Yang pointed at Zhang Chen, "He is from the security company I hired. I recently lost some property, so I signed a contract with the security company and asked them to help me monitor my residence and protect my property. 50 minutes ago, we received a call from the security guard. The company phone number said that someone broke into the courtyard and stole it, and asked us to return quickly. My granddaughter was worried and called the police directly on the way." Several members of the Yang family handed over their mobile phones. The phone records were clear and the timeline was clear. During this time, the police had confirmed that Zhang Chenfang belonged to a security company, and even brought over the security contract signed between them and Mr. Yang's family to confirm that they were not lying. The police have also obtained surveillance. The surveillance video captured everything that happened, and the evidence was conclusive and left no doubt. When questioning the identities of the 2 men who broke into the house, the police were also extremely surprised. "Are you robbing your own family? Incredible. The key is to kill people just to steal their own things, which is really unheard of." Ding's father was detained by the police and was still jumping around. Seeing Yang Yu come back, it was like seeing a savior. "Daughter-in-law. Wife-in-law. Tell these police officers quickly. This is all a misunderstanding. Ask them to let me and Xiao Yi go. Daughter-in-law, this is a family matter in our family. We don't want to expose the family scandal. There is no need to go to the police station. Daughter-in-law, Xiao Yi is going to die and is seriously injured. If you don't look at Dad's face, you have to look at Xiao Yi's face. One night of husband and wife's return of 100 nights of kindness. Can you bear to see the child's father go to jail? Can you bear to see the child's father's life and death unknown? Can you bear to see the child being laughed at because of his father in the future? Daughter-in-law, please think clearly. Your one thought may affect the face of the Ding family and the Yang family. You have to think about your elders and children. Daughter-in-law, listen to Dad. Did you hear me? Otherwise you will regret it. Tell these police officers quickly, it's all a misunderstanding. Did you hear me?" Father Ding howled hysterically. Tao Ran trembled and hid behind the police officer. "Comrade police officer, he is threatening me, I'm afraid." Intimidation. The police officers carefully considered what the old man just said. Is it considered a threat? It's a threat. Tao Ran's eyes turned red instantly and his shoulders shrugged. My family knows their own affairs. This is not the first time. Arrest them quickly, otherwise, I won't be able to survive. When she spoke the last word with a trembling voice, 2 lines of tears just fell down. Little bitch, what do you mean? Father Ding was instantly furious. You are talking nonsense. In front of a police officer, do you want to kill our father and son? No wonder we, Ding Yi, say you are not a good person. Why are you so vicious? Father Ding couldn't understand how she could add insult to injury at this time. He was furious and rushed towards Yang Yu. If you dare to talk nonsense again, I will tear your mouth apart. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 129. Tao Ran had already planned it. At this moment, her whole body was trembling. She pulled the officer's sleeves, her legs were weak from fear, and she crouched down and hid behind the officer. Comrade police officer. She cried, you heard it? If I don't follow their wishes, they will torture me. He is threatening me. If you don't arrest them, I won't be able to live. I am tortured by them. I have been bullying them for a long time, and I want to sue them. They are all bad people with a long history of evil. Bullying. Domestic violence. Full of evil. The police officers looked at several other Yang family members. The old man was angry and said nothing. He just sat at the stone table and stared at Father Ding closely. Yang's father clenched his fists in shock, while Yang's mother covered her mouth. Obviously, they were also shocked. Mother Yang couldn't hold it any longer and finally burst into tears. She went up to hug her daughter, feeling extremely distressed. The mother and daughter cried together, sobbing continuously, which was heartbreaking to listen to. Who didn't have a compassionate heart? Seeing Yang Yu slumped on the ground, with fear in his eyes, everyone's heart was shaken. What on earth has this girl been through? What on earth did these beasts do to her to make her so frightened? And if the father and son were really innocent, how could they commit burglary, robbery, and wounding at the same time? What can such a person do? Everyone present, including the police officer, came up with a lot of stories. What are you still doing? Protect the victim. Take the person back to the police station and lock him up. The police officers immediately gave instructions. Father Ding is going crazy. He can't go in. He finally kept explaining everything to the police officers so that he was not taken away immediately, but was dragged until the owner of the house came back. He originally thought that his wife and the Yang family would save face, so he would suppress the matter temporarily. This matter is obviously very simple. It only takes 2 words misunderstanding to turn a big problem into a small one. But who knew his wife would bite back? He was furious and panicked at the same time. If he goes in, who else will come to fish for the father and son? His son's crime was more serious than his. In the entire capital, they only knew the Yang family. Now that the 2 of them have gone in, what else can the old woman do besides cry, make trouble, and hang herself? Father Ding made the same mistake as Ding Yi back then. Seeing that he was about to be dragged into the police car, the panicked Father Ding kicked the police officers who were holding him with his left kick and right elbow, asking them to let him go. He howled and jumped to argue with Yang Yu. Yang Yu, on the other hand, was frightened and helpless, sitting on the ground with her head in her hands, crying and begging not to do it. The police officers were originally motivated to protect the weak, but now they still dared to attack the old man with his hands cuffed. How could they be lenient? Dare to attack the police? Be honest. The baton swung and hit Father Ding directly. Be honest. After some questioning, the Yang family learned about the police's preliminary conclusion: Ding Yi had committed theft and attempted murder. Father Ding, an accomplice in theft, sneaked into private houses, beat and threatened people, and robbed antiques. As for Zhang Chen, who stabbed Ding Yi, he stopped the evil act first and fought back in self-defense, so he is not responsible. In short, monitoring can prove it. Tao Ran and Zhang Chen's eyes met in the air, with a hint of relief in their eyes. Tao Ran could finally relax. Haha, is it easy for her to get into today's situation? She put a lot of effort into it. Step by step, he lured Ding Yi into the game. He had been acting for a long time and created a lot of conditions for him. Wasn't this the moment he was waiting for? It was her plan to steal and sell antiques, and it was her intention to travel. Even the key, she deliberately let Ding Yi get it. Originally, the keys in the courtyard house had very good anti-theft properties. In order for Ding Yi to successfully match the key, she also changed all the locks in the courtyard. Tao Ran was worried that the old man lived alone and had already installed an alarm system. This time, for Ding Yi's sake, he even removed all the systems. She even watched Zhang Chen adjust the position of the camera again. Finally, the hard work paid off and everything was perfect. Since she came to this world, she has been thinking about a society governed by law. How can she take revenge without breaking the law before the bad guys commit any evil? Ding Yi is so hateful. Divorce is easy, and it is not difficult for him to get clean and leave the house, but how can this be enough? Not only did the scumbag not get the lesson he deserved, he might even strike back at any time. Ding Yi in the story kills people and drugs him, which shows his despicable human nature. Now that he has not shown his bad roots, he has not reached that point yet. Tao Ran didn't want to wait and waste away. What a waste of time and being passive. So Tao Ran acted as a catalyst, stimulating the evildoers' desires in advance and allowing them to make mistakes on their own initiative. Just like she contributed to Qiao and Ding Yi's misdeeds in advance. It's good now. Attempted murder, this alone is enough for Ding Yi to spend several years in prison. The better news is that she just learned from the police officer that during the scuffle between Zhang Chen and Ding Yi in self-defense, the knife that Ding Yi received happened to go straight into the artery of his leg. As a result of Zhang Chen and Ding's father's procrastination, Ding Yi missed the first moment of treatment. That's an artery. Therefore, there is a high probability that Ding Yi's leg will not be fully recovered. So, this knife is great. Thanks to Zhang Chen for his precise action. What a stroke of genius. Even if Ding Yi is released from prison in the future, he will still have to drag a broken leg. Not only can't he get revenge, but how to live is also a problem. He hates the Yang family because it only hurts his self-esteem by asking him to marry into his wife. Everything he did was for his poor face and self-esteem. So Tao Ran took what he cared about most. A convicted murderer with a disability, will his parents continue to support him? Will his true love continue to love him? Is there anyone willing to support him? Bearing the feeling of having your self-esteem trampled every day is more uncomfortable than killing him, right? That night, Qiao, who was in the rental house, received a call from the police station, asking her to notify Ding's mother to go to the police station to cooperate with the investigation. Seeing that her husband and son had not returned for a long time, Ding's mother had a premonition that something was going to happen, but the moment the bad news came, she still couldn't accept it. My son was seriously injured and he is receiving first aid. Both father and son were caught. Are there many more crimes? Why is it even involved in murder? Money, you have to get money. She thought of the last time her son got into trouble. He had to get money to settle the matter. I don't know if my son's leg needs surgery, but he still needs money. She had to get a lot of money quickly. She packed her bag, and then her eyes stopped on Qiao, who looked pale. Money. How much money do you have? Take it out quickly. Mother Ding rushed forward and grabbed Qiao. Qiao shuddered and trembled several times. She felt like the sky was falling. Not just because Ding Yi went in, but mainly because he thought about the future of her and the child in her belly. Will she continue to follow Ding Yi? Will you follow a tainted person in the future? At this point, his future is completely over, right? Do you want to help him raise his children? Do you still want to go all the way to the dark side? Should she correct her mistakes while she can and cut her losses quickly? Should we wait and see at the risk of being dragged down? Or leave immediately? The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 130. How can I have money? Qiao Qiao made a decision instantly and raised her neck. I haven't worked for half a year. In short, we can't give you money. That was her last resort. Stop talking nonsense and get the money. I don't. Don't think I don't know, you have been using my son's card. Your savings have not been touched at all. You could give Xiao Yi 5,000 in one breath that day, you must have at least 20 or 30,000 on you at that time. Mother Ding has always been extremely shrewd when it comes to money. You and Xiao Yi have been together for so long, and he has given you a lot of money, right? You have bought so many clothes and lipsticks, how can you not hide your secrets? How much have you mixed up? Without. Then I'll find it myself. Without saying anything, Ding's mother started to look through Qiao Qiao's things. Now two people are waiting for her to rescue. Why should she be the only one to contribute the money? Qiao Qiao spent so much money on her son, it's time to spit it out. Mother Ding does still have tens of thousands of dollars on hand, but she managed to save that. She still relies on this money to support her retirement. If something happens to her son, she will depend on this money for the rest of her life. On the contrary, this Qiao Qiao. Mother Ding started to hate her again. Xioxia is right. To this day, this Qiao Qiao is the culprit. If she hadn't been obsessed with seducing her son, what a wonderful wife Yang Yu would be. What a filial daughter-in-law. Every time she opens her mouth, her daughter-in-law will give her thousands of pocket allowances. What a wonderful family the Yang family has. So generous, as long as the Ding family has something to do, there will never be a time when they don't get paid. The son has a smooth journey, and with the Yang family taking care of him, he can become a high official sooner or later. But now, all lost. My daughter-in-law, the Yang family, even turned against them. Now it's obvious that we want to take revenge on them. Mother Ding became angrier as she thought about it. Apart from prodigal and hooking up, what else can this Qiao Qiao do? When did you give her pocket money? When did you buy something for her? I haven't even bought a plastic bag for myself. This little bitch deliberately bulges out her belly and dictates things at home, but she still has the nerve to sleep on the bed. Do you still have the nerve to eat your own food? Are you still hiding money now? What evil had the old Ding family done to get entangled in such a thing? Mother Ding was angry, so she slapped Qiao Qiao's face away, rummaged through the boxes and rummaged through Qiao Qiao's things. Finally, her hard work paid off, and she found more than 3,000 yuan in Qiao Qiao's bag. Qiao Qiao pulled her and begged, I'm pregnant with a child. If Ding Yi can't come out, even if it's not for my sake, the child still has to eat, drink and be nourished. You can't take this money. She needs money to live alone. Abortion also costs money. Get away, Mother Ding pushed the person away. You must have more than this amount of money, Qiao Qiao has at least 30 to 50,000, and he is a 1,000-year-old fox. Doesn't this count? Ding's mother continued to search and finally found a bank card in Qiao Qiao's broken bag. What's the password? How much? Mother Ding asked, but suddenly slapped her head, by the way, Xiao Yi knows. I'll ask him. Qiao Qiao's face suddenly turned pale. Then I remembered that one time Ding Yi followed her to the bank and saw her password. He actually told his mother about this. This money was not given by Ding Yi. This is the money I saved in my early years. You can't take it away. Bah! You're so shameless. You are raised by my family, Xiao Yi, and you have spent Xiao Yi's money from head to toe, top to bottom. How dare you have the nerve to say this? Mother Ding kicked her away. He caught Xiao Xiao, who was holding his trousers. "You are robbing me." "Yes, just rob it. Call the police." Xiao Xiao burst into tears, while Mother Ding pulled out her hair. "Are there any other cards?" Xiao Xiao shook his head. "I'll deal with you later." Mother Ding quickly collected her things and walked out. As soon as she walked downstairs, an idea flashed in her mind. She felt something was wrong and immediately turned back. When she opened the door quietly, she saw that a whimpering Xiao Xiao had already opened the box and was stuffing her clothes and bags into the box. "You little bitch, want to run away?" Mother Ding walked downstairs and remembered the day her daughter-in-law left home, and she was inspired. The card in her hand belonged to Xiao Xiao. As long as Xiao Xiao reported the loss immediately, she wouldn't be able to withdraw a penny. No wonder the little bitch is so well behaved and doesn't even catch up to grab the card. Ding's mother quickly turned back. If she wanted to get the money smoothly, she had to make sure that Xiao Xiao didn't report the loss. But who knew that this bitch actually wanted to run away? "Don't you keep saying that you love her to death?" She wanted to run away as soon as something happened to her son? Where is she going with her grandson? This woman is simply 10,000 times more hateful than Yang Yu. Mother Ding was furious and slapped her out again. She once again followed Yang Yu's example that day and snatched Xiao Xiao's ID card and mobile phone, then locked both doors before leaving in a hurry. She was already merciful. If it weren't for the sake of the grandson in Xiao Xiao's belly, she would definitely have to tie up the stinky girl who doesn't know whether to live or die, to cross rivers and burn bridges, and to have no conscience. Ding's mother's running is destined to be meaningless. Because Tao Ran and the Yang family not only confirmed Ding Yi's evil deeds, but also filed a complaint to bring Ding Yi and his son to court, demanding severe punishment for the family. Even Ding's mother and Xiao Xiao were summoned by the police station for many days to cooperate with the investigation. While Ding Mu and Xiao Xiao were at a loss as to whether they were headless flies, Tao Ran was proceeding in an orderly manner. She had already found a lawyer, and she filed for divorce and sued Ding Yi at the same time, which was efficient and effective. She deliberately used some connections and gave a little guidance, which made the matter receive much attention and greatly shortened the court session. Her series of complaints, in addition to charges of burglary, robbery, and wounding against the Ding family and his son, also included Ding Yi's long-term domestic violence against her, mainly mental bullying, and her support. The mistress caused a de facto marriage and transferred the joint assets of the couple and many other crimes. Tao Ran did not forget Xiao Xiao and sued him, collaborating with another defendant to transfer common property during marriage and mentally bullying the plaintiff. Yang Yu's request was that while Xiao Xiao publicly apologize, return money and compensate for economic losses. Xiao Xiao was stunned when she received the court summons. Why, it still has her business. Mother Ding's whole body was muddled. She had not studied for a few days, could not understand the summons, and did not know what to do. So she could only ask for help from her daughter and son-in-law. Ding Xia and his wife were completely dumbfounded. What is this? What shocked them even more was that their cafeteria boss actually heard about the Yang family. The two of them were fired directly the next day. After they went to the canteen, they worked as apprentices for a few days, and the probation period started half a month ago. Therefore, after being fired, the two of them only received a total salary of 700 yuan. Ding Xia immediately burst into tears. When Ding's mother came to find her, she finally had a big quarrel with Ding's mother. It's because you always indulged him that we got here. I told Xiao Xiao to get out, but you still didn't listen. Otherwise, how could my sister-in-law be so angry and make trouble like this? Mother Ding was already angry, but when her daughter refused to help and just talked nonsense, her anger turned into a slap in the face.